He lay in bed staring at the ceiling, knowing exactly what he should be doing, but his body refused to move. Deadlines loomed, chores piled up, yet all he felt was the heavy pull of, "I'll do it later." What broke this cycle wasn't motivation or guilt. It was something much simpler. Karan was no stranger to procrastination. His mornings often started with ambitious plans: exercise, clean the kitchen, work on his side project. But by noon, he'd still be scrolling on his phone, telling himself, "I'll start after lunch." The problem wasn't that Karan didn't care. In fact, he cared a lot. But the more he thought about all the things he had to do, the heavier they felt. The tasks seemed too big, and starting felt impossible. One Saturday morning, Karan promised himself he'd clean his room before meeting friends. It was a mess. Clothes everywhere, books piled on the desk, dust on the shelves. He looked at it once and sighed. "I'll do it later," he thought. But later came and went, and by the evening, the mess was still there. When his friends visited unexpectedly, he saw their raised eyebrows and felt a wave of embarrassment. That night, lying in bed, he realized this laziness was quietly shaping the kind of person he was becoming, and he didn't like it. The next day, Karan came across a short post online. "If you're feeling too lazy to do something, just start with 2 minutes." 2 minutes? That sounded silly, but he was desperate to change, so he decided to try it. His room still needed cleaning. Instead of thinking about the whole thing, he told himself, "Just pick up clothes from the floor for 2 minutes, then you can stop." So he started. 2 minutes passed. By then, the floor looked better, so he thought, "I might as well put the books back." 10 minutes later, the desk was clear. Within half an hour, the whole room was clean. He sat on the bed, shocked. The hardest part hadn't been the work. It was simply starting. Karan began using the 2-minute rule for everything. Too lazy to exercise? He'd tell himself, "Just do 1 push-up." Too lazy to write? Just open the document and type 1 sentence. Most of the time, once he started, he naturally kept going. And even on days when he stopped after 2 minutes, he still felt better because he'd taken action instead of doing nothing. This small trick made laziness less of a wall and more of a door he could push open. A few weeks later, Karan faced a huge work project with a tight deadline. Old Karan would have avoided it until panic set in. But now, he told himself, just open the file and spend 2 minutes outlining the first part. Once he began, the outline grew. Hours later, he had finished the first section. The next day, he used the same approach. Step by step, he finished the project early, and his boss praised his dedication. Karan realized he hadn't become a different person overnight. He was still the same guy who didn't always feel like working. The difference was, he now knew how to trick his brain into starting. The secret wasn't fighting laziness with willpower. It was lowering the entry point so much that starting became effortless. Once you start, momentum takes over. By focusing on tiny actions instead of the whole mountain, Karan found himself climbing without noticing. From this story, here's how you can win against laziness starting today. 1. Shrink the task. Make it so small you can't say no. Instead of "I'll clean the kitchen," say "I'll wash 1 plate." 2. Use the 2-minute rule. Commit to just 2 minutes of action. Most of the time, you'll keep going. 3. Focus on starting, not finishing. Your only job is to begin. Momentum will do the rest. 4. Remove decision fatigue. Prepare in advance. Set out workout clothes, open the document, place tools where you can see them. 5. Celebrate tiny wins. Every small action reinforces the habit of doing, not delaying. The secret to winning against laziness isn't waiting for motivation. It's making the first step so easy that starting feels natural. Do something small right now and watch how it leads to bigger victories. If this story helped you, give it a like and subscribe for more practical, life-changing stories. Let's take small steps together, because small starts lead to big changes.